Welcome to the Grace Space, a transmission for the sovereign soul. But is that really true? Sure, a few people out there seem to fit those stereotypes, but let's get real. The traits that they display, selfishness, narcissism, lack of empathy, zero remorse, zero contrition, chasing pleasure, short-sightedness, these are classic signs of sociopathy and psychopathy. Those traits are not original to our nature. That's not who we are. Those traits belong to an energy that has been feeding off of humanity for ages, something parasitic. And yeah, I'm saying it, its roots aren't even from Earth. Hey everyone, real quick before we begin, if this content matters to you, you're warmly invited to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, to leave a comment, or all three. I read all the comments, and your engagement is really important because when you engage, it tells YouTube to push this content out to more people who would find value in it. Now that I understand this, I engage a lot more with the channels that are important to me because I know it really matters. Thanks for listening. Here we go. Hey, everybody. There's a weird light on me right now. There's the sun is breaking through some clouds in this octagonal window that you can't see here, but it's creating a kind of half light, half shadow on my face. Um, yes, I want to talk today about this master spell of mind control in the form of amnesia, collective amnesia that we're now starting to wake up from. And this episode I'm recording and will air during a week where we're having a major eclipse. We're right at this moment where it's the end of the year of the wood snake and the beginning of the year of the fire horse. So it's really now the beginning of the new year, not January 1st. So there's a big shift in energy happening right now, and it's been described by many people as a choice point, right? And I completely agree with that. It's a point where we need to make a conscious choice about what matters to us, what we're going to align with, to be really honest with ourselves about what we are basing our life on and what we're intending to create, because things are getting pretty intense out there. I don't know if you've noticed. It'd be hard not to. You'd have to be living under a rock not to know and to feel that we're in a time of rapid acceleration of changes, right? And things falling apart and other things being born right alongside them. It's a really key moment. And I want to talk about mind control. I think it's so important for us to understand clearly what that means so that we can wake up from it. To me, this is part of the choice point, right? Is to see things clearly and let go of old illusions that we might have had about ourselves, about the world, about the way things are, and to step into real responsibility, and sovereignty in our lives. And we can't do that if we don't, if we're afraid to acknowledge reality, if we're afraid to acknowledge reality. All right, so this is not some fanciful conspiracy theory that I'm floating here. This is about looking at reality. So, what is mind control? Well, in modern terms, we kind of equate that term with programs like MK Ultra, which has become this sort of umbrella term for the worldwide implementation of deliberate mind control programs and mechanisms to control the masses. But mind control is not a modern invention, okay? Nor is it limited to a small group of survivors whose experiences with severe trauma and mind fragmentation for covert governmental and military programs are increasingly coming to light. We need to realize that we humans have been subjected to and we have been under many forms of perceptual manipulation over millennia, over eons of time. That's why it's so hard to see. So, this manipulation it extends far beyond the infamous government experiments that we've heard about, the covert operations. It includes cultural conditioning, social engineering, societal norms, religious indoctrination, education through school systems, and the subtle shaping of beliefs and worldviews and behaviors through media and education, as I said. And these influences are so familiar to us that they've, for a very long time, just gone unnoticed. It's just part of the scenery. It's just, the wallpaper that you've always had in your room. All of this stuff has been woven into the fabric of daily life in such a way that it has gradually eroded the autonomy of individual thought. And lest I mix my metaphors, well, I'm going to just go ahead and mix my metaphors. We're like the proverbial frog in the boiling water. It gets turned up little by little and you don't notice until you're cooked. But that is not the case for us because we are noticing. So I need to say that if you feel offended at the idea that you're under mind control, check yourself. I mean, personally, it took me some time to get around that idea, to accept it, and to understand what it really meant. I mean, it's the ego, right? The ego doesn't want to believe that it's being controlled because it thinks that it's in control, right? And that reactivity will keep you in bondage. And I always think of something that George Kavassilis said. It's just, stayed with me. He said, if you think you're not under mind control, then you're even more mind controlled than you think. We are all under mind control. It's only a question of degree and our willingness to admit that so that we can begin to extricate ourselves from it. And it's very humbling to admit that you have been duped. Nobody wants to be played. That's okay. We all have been. That's the truth. We have all been duped. We have all been played. And I don't know about you, but when I stop being too serious about it, it just makes me laugh. This game has been so good. It's been so strong. We have been massively, continuously, spiritually molested in a way, all of us, all of our lives. And the first step to get out of this, to extricate yourself, is awareness. Awareness. You don't lose anything from just being open to the possibility that that's the truth. You gain something. Mind control at its core is not merely about overt programming, but about the persistent, multi layered processes that lead us to forget our authentic selves and adopt identities that have been crafted by external forces, right? I mean, the personal self that we identify with is the result of mind control. It's the result of programming. It is not who we really are. If you think this is all you are, you're under mind control, right? This is not who we are. It is an interface, it is a means of being in this world, and it is to be respected and loved and cared for, but it's not who we are. So the true danger here lies in the fact that these mechanisms of control are so deeply embedded in our history and in our environment that their presence and their impact are rarely questioned. And that makes the reclamation of our sovereign mind and true nature a rare but essential act of inner revolution. And this year there's going to be revolution, one way or another. Revolution within yourself, revolution out there, because as within, so without, as above, so below, right? So, okay, mind control is not just about making people follow orders or accept whatever's handed to them. It is about shaping a society where people barely notice their own submission, right? The goal is to keep everyone distracted, apathetic, in pursuit of pleasure, right? That's another distraction. And caught up in endless internal battles and strife, and always, running after the carrot that you never get to. We've been taught to pick sides, right? But those sides are really just two branches of the same tree. And that keeps us stuck in a loop of divisiveness, division, right? That's the program of divide and conquer. They've been using that on us since time immemorial, and it's really time to wake up to it now, everybody. Let's not be fools. I mean, this is just part of the playbook. It's part of the playbook. All of this keeps us blind to the bigger picture, how we are being corralled like so many farm animals toward a future where thinking for yourself is a thing of the past, right? They've even said that, the World Economic Forum, I can't remember who it was who said that, human thought will be a thing of the past. Is that what you want? And only those who, play along with this new world order get any privileges. You can already see the net tightening around us. Digital IDs popping up everywhere. Biometric this, biometric that. New currencies taking over. Constant talk about a looming economic collapse. These changes they're not happening by accident. They are not random. They are part of a playbook that this has been in the works for many, many decades, and we could say even longer than that. Those in power have been following a DARPA generated AI flat plan for us for many decades now. And they are paving the way for a world where a single government controls everything. And this is a vision that has been in the shadows for ages. The perpetrators play the long game. right? This is something we have a hard time conceiving of. Really? Could it really be? Yeah, they play the long game, and we have been trained to have very short attention spans. Look at the news cycle. They want you to forget the thing that happened yesterday. It's like, talk about something else, right? Why all this effort to keep us so distracted and obedient? Well, it comes down to who we really are. And this is where it gets exciting and interesting. It comes down to who we really are and what we are capable of. Deep down, we are beings with incredible creative power. We're connected to source, a source that is so vast it's impossible to imagine. We have a direct connection to that infinite field through our heart. But through mind control, many eons of perceptual manipulation, we have been worn down, tricked, deceived into forgetting who we are, into believing that we're powerless, that we're ordinary, and much worse than that, that we're a plague on the planet, that we're unworthy, all of that, right? The truth is, the hidden group of beings that we share our planet with have been tapping into our creative energy for ages, using us like batteries, right? Just like they said in the Matrix, to fuel their own agendas. Most of us haven't even realized that there's a game being played, let alone what the rules are. If you don't know that you're in a game, you're just a pawn. You're always reacting to what's happening instead of creating your own path. I mean, that's the real trap, living at the effect of someone else's plans that you're not even aware of, never at the cause of your own life. We can move from pawn to player, but we need to see the game first. You need to know that there is one, not be in denial of that. To me, this is empowering. If you can let it in, let it into you, take a deep breath, then this can be the beginning of a whole new phase of amazing empowerment. So let's be real. These are some dark times that we're living through. Whew. And I say that as an optimist. I have a very positive outlook on life and on where this is all going. I see this current period as necessary. It's necessary. The scales have to fall from our eyes if we are to remember who we are and to reclaim our sovereignty. And I have every faith that we will do so. It's inevitable. It can't be stopped. There's a momentum behind it. I mean, here we are. We're moving out of the year of the snake into the year of the fire horse. We're having an eclipse this week. Like, everything, even just astrologically, shows this progression. It demonstrates, where we're going. What's becoming more and more obvious, even to those who haven't wanted to believe the outlandishness of it, who have dismissed all of this as conspiracy theory, and I find that term, it's so hackneyed and overused now, but it's becoming more and more clear that whatever was disparagingly termed conspiracy theory is in fact reality. It just is becoming clear that we are ruled over and always have been by a small elite group of psychopathic beings that may not even be fully human. that seem to be devoid of any humane qualities of empathy. As Kathy O'Brien puts it, they are not like us and they don't like us. And, that's just scratching the surface. I'm speaking to those who haven't spent ages like I have, obsessively connecting the dots and diving down rabbit holes trying to figure out why our world feels so weirdly anti-human. Have you noticed that? Why is our world so anti-human when we're the ones who live here? It's crucial that we stop ignoring or denying what's being revealed, no matter how sickening it is. And it is sickening. It's brutal. But we need to face it. We need to be able to look that evil in the eyes and not flinch. Because the truth is, it has no power over us, not unless we allow that. It has no power over us. We can look at this. We can face it. We can look at it in the eyes and not flinch. We are here to call that out. The gloves are off now. Have you noticed? And these controllers are finally letting themselves be seen, and they're not shy about showing us how they view us. Less than, disposable, slaves, useless eaters, commodities, mere resources to be exploited and used up. The truth is, that's how they've always seen us. And now they act like we should just accept that and move on. That's just the way it's going to be, and we've got to lie back and take it. It's becoming obvious. More people are waking up to the fact that demanding justice for the massive, depraved crimes against humanity which have been underway, stuff that's been happening for decades, and hell, I mean, now it looks like since always, is almost pointless. Because the systems that we rely on or have relied on aren't actually designed to protect us. They were built to keep us powerless and in line. They are not here to serve us, right? I mean, sure, someone occasionally gets thrown under the bus to make it look like justice is being served, but that's just for show. The real masterminds, puppet masters, never face the consequences, never get named. They're redacted, right? And most people don't even know who they are. The whole setup exists to keep us distracted and submissive and, make sure that the true puppet masters just stay in the shadows. That deliberate absence of accountability that we're seeing now is meant to utterly demoralize you and get you to sink into hopelessness. And I know sometimes it's hard. I've had some pretty tough days myself recently, apprehending the scope of evil. But are we really going to allow that to happen? Are we going to allow them to draw us into hopelessness? Let no man pull you so low as to hate him, Martin Luther King said. So once again, my intention here is not to black pill you guys. And for the conspiracy unaware, that term black pill refers to the despair and the sort of heavy cynicism that some people succumb to when they realize the immensity, the intricacy, the scope of the insane impositions that we were born into. But, again, that's not my intent. I want to gently invite all of us to look this darkness in the face, in the eyes, and to realize it has no power over us unless we give it that power. It's okay to feel grief when you're waking up because there is grief in waking up. That's just part of the process. When we have to wake up and let go of our illusions, you can't heal what you refuse to feel. Awareness is our best defense against all of this manipulation and constant psychological warfare. And what's amazing is we have something so powerful going for us, a spark, a connection that those who want to keep us under their thumb simply don't have. And that's why they want to keep us under their thumb. The truth is, we have all the power. They need us. We don't need them. And they know it. And we'll talk more about all that stuff soon because honestly, all of this chaos is just speeding up the awakening of the masses. We're not here to wage war against the darkness, even though many people will tell you, and in a certain sense, it's true that this is a spiritual war. But we are not here to wage war against the darkness. We are here to shine a spotlight on that darkness and let our light do the work. We're here to let our light out. Our light has been long suppressed. Our heart has been long suppressed. And now this is what it is, right? Let it out. Let it out. Be you. Be you without apology. What you are is that light. It is that love. It is that power of being a creator being. That's the key. That's why we have been so exploited. But before we can break free from so many centuries of control, there are just a few basics that we need to face and accept, right? It's like just laying the groundwork to reclaim ourselves. Number one, we've got to grow up and realize that the people who are running the show, they honestly don't care about us. They don't care. Not even a little, right? They aren't like you or me. We got to stop treating them as if they are. They will crush anyone who gets in their way if it means grabbing more power, more wealth, more control. And now, as their grip is slipping, they get more reckless and dangerous, and their desperation's making them even bolder and more ridiculous. So we've got to stop measuring them with the ruler that we apply to normal human beings. They're not like us, right? They don't care about you. They don't like you. I mean, I know it took me some time also to like, okay, accept that people can be that way. I don't think that they're really people. I mean, humans in the sense that we are. Second thing, just like our minds have been chopped up and divided and compartmentalized by generations of mind control. And trust me, we're going to dig into all of these methods in the coming weeks. And you're going to hear from people this season in the interviews who are firsthand survivors of the modern version of mind control. The systems that were built by these controllers are also all split up and compartmentalized. Our DNA has been manipulated, our brains have been compartmentalized, meaning that we rarely access our full power right? And so we're set up internally in our brains to be divided against ourselves. And as we know, a house divided against itself cannot stand. That manipulation keeps us scrambling around, fumbling in the dark outside of ourselves looking for answers because most people don't even know what part of the puzzle that they're working on, let alone what the big picture is. I'm speaking now of, the people who work for these institutions, who are part of these systems, who are good people, and they don't even realize what it is they're in service of, right? Because these institutions are run by people, right? Imagine, trying to solve a puzzle with no box, with no image to guide you. It's frustrating, it's slow, sometimes feels totally pointless. Just ask anybody who's ever tackled a puzzle like that. This compartmentalization is a deliberate complexity and convolution, and it's a mirror of what has been done to us in here, and it fuels division, and it keeps us fighting over distractions and stuff that doesn't matter, and that's all part of the world stage, a stage that is pure theater, is meant to keep us distracted. Okay, so convolution and unnecessary complexity is part of this system, and it's designed to keep the parts separate from one another, and the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, and you get lost in there. It's like a maze, right? Third thing, most important of all, we need to start believing in ourselves again. We need to start believing in humanity again. They want you to despise your very nature. I mean, there's been a campaign going on for ages to make humanity consider itself the villain. We're told we're ruining the planet, there's too many of us, we're always fighting, we're ignorant, we're we're unworthy. We need to be improved by their technology. That's another one, right? Well, I'll turn you into superhumans. It's all just different angles of the same psyop, which is you kind of are terrible, not enough, you're not good enough, and there's too many of you, and so we're going to get rid of as many as we can, and then the others we're going to turn into cyborgs. Huh? So this this propaganda campaign against humanity has been absorbed by most of us. I hear it every day when I'm listening to commentators, podcasters, people who have big channels, and who are disgusted with the whole thing, and they're lumping humanity, all of us, into one sort of negative category. But is that really true? Sure, a few people out there seem to fit those stereotypes, but let's get real. The traits that they display, selfishness, narcissism, lack of empathy, zero remorse, zero contrition, chasing pleasure, short-sightedness, these are classic signs of sociopathy and psychopathy. Those traits are not original to our nature. That's not who we are. Those traits belong to an energy that has been feeding off of humanity for ages, something parasitic. And yeah, I'm saying it, its roots aren't even from Earth. This force infiltrates our planet through certain bloodlines that are more open to carrying its energy. All right. The bloodlines of those controllers, and if you do a little bit of research, it doesn't take long to figure that out. So I recommend doing that for yourself. And this energy that infiltrates our planet is a kind of psychopathy that wants to dominate and control. And we have seen that influence on our planet throughout the ages, just taking different forms. We humans have been twisted and traumatized over generations by this energy, but we are not the original cause of these harms to ourselves or to the planet. That's my view. Natural, organic humans are peaceful, live in harmony with the planet, in tune with nature, because she's our mother. That's how we are naturally. Real organic humans have access to our multidimensionality. If you look at the original peoples of this planet, you can see that. We have been used as food and fuel by this parasitic consciousness that cannot create anything on its own. Any being, any entity, any consciousness that chooses to separate itself from source has no creative spark. It has no innate energy of its own. So it has to consume. It's forced to, right? Because this isn't happening anymore. This infinite well of source of creativity and energy, they're cut off from that, and so they are forced to look for energy outside of themselves, and they've trained us to think like they do. That is not who we are. Look at so many times when disasters happen and bad things happen. What do people do? People come together. They help each other. Those times are full of heartwarming stories that bring tears to your eyes and make your heart just explode when you see what human beings will do for one another under those circumstances. That is who we are. But we have been negatively affected by thousands of years of trauma and abuse. And that's the reality that we're waking up to. We have been a source of loosh for that parasitic energy. That is emotional energy, loosh, right? That they feed on and they trigger us in a variety of ways. And that loosh, that emotional energy or also sexual energy becomes a source of fuel for them. So let the foregoing inspire you with a deeper question. Who are we? Who are we really? That we have been so suppressed, so traumatized, so victimized, so prized as a source of energy. Who are we that we have been subjected to such tight control, to so many resets and mind wipes and such intense manipulation and gaslighting and programming? Who the hell are we? We must be, wow. And there are tantalizing bits of evidence everywhere you look that our true history has not been shared with us, that we've been fed a story, his story, about our origins that is not accurate, that this is not the most advanced we've ever been, that technologies already exist on this planet that could eradicate hunger, poverty, pollution, all of that in short order, but those technologies are currently being hoarded and not used for us, but rather against us. We have not been privy to a lot about ourselves. Hence all the fairy tales about the disinherited princes and princesses who don't know who they really are. The ultimate aim of mind control is to get you to forget who you are. Every other program builds on this primal forgetting. Nearly all humans, save a small number who have remembered everything now, have been under a veil of amnesia, heavy sleep. I know I was. Whatever your soul's intention when you came back in here, you know that the risk is you can get lost in this house of mirrors, right? That's why we call this time the awakening, because the veil is thinning. And why? Why is the veil thinning? Because it's time. Because everything has a time limit. Everything is cyclical in the universe. Nothing can stay the same forever. Everything evolves because we are going through the photon belt. Because Mother Earth is a conscious being and she's not going to stand her own subjugation by parasitical forces for much longer. It's happening. We have been deliberately stripped of our memory of who we are, our origins, our purpose here, our destiny. Why? Because our very existence as full universal fractals of the source is a miracle. It is a miracle. Our human incarnational vessel is capable of metabolizing and alchemizing and integrating all of the light and shadow of our entire universal journey since we came into this universe until now. And the age of domination by synthetic forces in the Milky Way galaxy and here at home on Earth is coming to an end. This is happening. Nothing can stop it. But it's not happening because some outside forces are doing it. It's happening through us, through our very awakening, through our remembering who we are. And I wish you could see the sky right now because it looks absolutely heavenly. These two clouds have broken apart like this. And this beautiful blue sky is behind it, and this light is filtering through. The consequences of forgetting who we are have been very heavy indeed. We have been so indoctrinated into an alien way of thinking and doing and being, alien to our true nature, that we have nearly lost ourselves, nearly lost our soul, nearly driven ourselves to the edge of extinction again, or been driven there. We've been reset many times. And yet, many people will still defend the systems and the institutions and the people that have oppressed them. Many people still are reluctant to take on the responsibility for self-governance, as opposed to government. Government, governing, ruling over your ment mind. That's what the government does. Many people have deified the state and, feel entitled to be taken care of by it. I lived in France for nearly 5 years full time, and before that part time for nearly 10 years. And I saw firsthand how much the people have been programmed to be dependent on the state and not think for themselves or follow their true soul expression. And, they're always constantly on strike in France. It's kind of a, you know, what's the stereotype, right? Of the French are always going on strike. It's always some group on strike. They're out there in the streets with their signs, waving their banners, expressing their displeasure about this thing or that thing, fighting for peanuts in a game that's already rigged against them. And these surges of so-called civil disobedience are merely displays of frustration and resentment at having given away true freedom in exchange for some kind of illusory security, which is a fantasy. It's just more drama and distraction to give people the feeling that they are fighting for something, right? And that any paltry gains that are acquired in the process actually mean anything, which they don't. We've got to wake up now. It's the same thing in the United States, with every election, people get hopeful that, somebody is going to finally make a change. And they're just passing the ball back and forth to each other. And we're going like this and think, no, both hands are connected to the same puppet master. So at this time of choice, at this juncture, what are you going to choose for yourself? Are you going to face reality? Are you going to ask yourself the deeper questions? Are you going to have the courage to see what is happening and take the steps to empower yourself? Are you going to wait for all the systems to break down and let somebody else tell you what to think, what to do, believing that they have your best interest at heart and trust that the government will save you? We cannot afford to be glamored by anyone anymore. Any celebrity, any politician, any so called leader out there now. For now, I think we have to assume that if they've achieved a world stage level of visibility, they are compromised. They are put in those places. We cannot afford to give our power away to anyone or anything anymore. And if you are stuck in one polarity or another, if you think politics is the answer, that voting means anything, that your side of the political spectrum is the right one and the other one is wrong, you are missing the point, missing the bigger picture. You have been mind controlled. It is time for us to leave all of that division behind and come together. Team human. Team human. Leave your beef outside. Leave your gripe behind. It doesn't matter. It's about coming together as humans because we have been dominated by a very small number of people for a very long time. And it's time to bring that to an end. And the only way that it will really come definitively to an end is if we stand up. They need us. We don't need them. Have the courage, the dignity of the real human that you are. Stand for yourself, back yourself. As we move into this new year of the fire horse and out of the snake, we are shedding the old skins, right? The old identity. So, what is it time to let go of now? And what really matters that you are going to intentionally put into place as the true creator that you are? My friend George Kavasilis coined a mantra that I love and I still use it every day. If you want to break free from all the webs of deception, I invite you to experiment with it by saying it feelingly to yourself. I am a creator being. I'm done suffering. I only want what is real. I am a creator being. I am done suffering. I only want what is real. If you mean it, even if you're not sure you believe it, you can mean it. You will create a space in your life for the real in you to emerge out of yourself. You will start to see through the veil. You will start to see through falsehood. You will begin to truly honor yourself as the creator being that you forgot you are. You will come into possession of your higher gifts again. You will understand your place in the cosmos, what you are doing here, and why you came. Because it's not for any of the reasons that they told you. And it will not come from your mind. It comes from deep in here. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That is the actual quote. You will know the truth. And knowing the truth is what sets you free. We'll talk more about the subtle layers of control that we're waking up from next time I see you on my own. And in the meantime, we've got some very rich, very eclectic interviews coming up to, open up our perspective on this great mystery that we're living through. I hope to see you then. Meanwhile, walk in grace. You've been listening to The Grace Space. To amplify this field, you're welcome to like, subscribe, or share. Thank you.